check. Doom. Lighting looks different today, huh? Not bad. Welcome back to the program. In the Jar Football Show. I'm your host, Clark Dupree. Episode 193 on April 2nd, 2026. Yeah. We got some good stuff for you today. I mean, you got Kirk Cousins. The writing on the wall was there for Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders. Some people, not just 2 days ago, are saying that maybe the Rams come in and get him. The bill of my hat is bothering me right now, if you couldn't tell. I don't like the shape of it. You know what I mean? I don't like how it looks right now, but that's cool because we're rolling. But the Kirk Cousins thing, and then I don't feel like we got enough time to riff about Jalen Hurts yesterday. That situation is effed up. That's rat behavior. And the thing too, like the guys that reported it, that's a real career in the NFL is, being a guy that breaks news. But I feel like there's different kinds of breaking news. A guy like Schefter, I don't think is going to accept somebody as an anonymous source and then say, I'm going to write this. Just don't think that's right. He said it. He said he didn't feel like that kind of reporting was right to do. So it's like, you're in that business. You're trying to do your best to make a living for your family. You want to be the guy that breaks this news, but at what cost? It's not a team guy. None of those guys in that equation are team guys. It's very personal stuff, The comments that were made about Jalen Hurts were very, very personal. And this is a guy that was a Super Bowl MVP 2 years ago. And a lot of people, I feel like, forgot that even happened. I don't want to be seeming like I'm sticking up for Jalen Hurts. Did I think he was good this year? Do I think he measured up to expectations this year? No. So I'm sure there's problems, man, but whoever the whistleblower, the Eagles whistleblower is, not a team guy. Nowhere close to a team guy. Not even in the same realm, universe, stratosphere as a team guy. Opposite of team guy. And when you have guys that are the opposite of a team guy in your building, that's a problem. In any building. Because non-team guys are a cancer on a football team. Cancer on a football team. Because their negative little hen-pecking energy start infecting some of the other weaker link guys. And then before you know it, they're fully infected with the feminine mind virus that is not being a team guy. And then the entire team becomes non-team guys. And when you're not team guys, you don't win football games. Nobody's bought in. Everybody wants to paint their nails and talk about their feelings. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. We're just riffing here today, man. We're riffing. So you got the Jalen Hurts thing, and then George Pickens, a little sticky contract situation. There's a franchise tender that he hasn't signed yet. So, and he wants an extension, but a lot of insiders think that the Cowboys aren't going to want to pay him. And so you have a unique situation because you're paying CeeDee Lamb a lot of money. Can't remember how much exactly, but you're paying CeeDee Lamb a lot of money. So they probably ain't going to want to pay George Pickens a lot of money. Now, do I think George Pickens has earned a lot of money? That's an interesting question. I love watching George Pickens play. God, do I love watching him play, man. The aggression, the finesse, the fluidity, the pure athleticism. I know I sound like I'm glazing right now. I really have no type of emotion around George Pickens, but I love watching the guy play. He's always trying to throw his hand in your face, throw you off of him, jump over you. You know, guy's a black-ass gangster. That's what I like about George Pickens. He wears a shiesty in the game, and it ain't even cold. He just wears a shiesty for the love of the game. Starts fights, rage baits. I think that's cool about George Pickens. I like George Pickens, but anyways, won't get fined. Won't get fined for not showing up to OTAs or any other offseason activities. Don't think he gets fined as long as he doesn't sign the franchise tender. He didn't sign up to do anything yet. So it's a weird situation. I don't know how it went down. We'll look at the specifics of it here in a little bit. That's what we're going to be talking about today for the most part. We got the Final Four this weekend as well. First time that I think both games have had a spread, according to Vegas, within 2 points. Michigan's favored against Arizona. Charles Barkley said that game is like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, I think. It's that big of a heavyweight matchup. And I'll tell you, man, a lot of people think that whoever wins the Michigan-Arizona game is going to be the national champion. Here's how I see it going down, and we'll get farther into it as we go along here on the show. By the way, if you're new in here, make sure you subscribe to the channel for me now. Hit that subscribe button. Part of the reason we go live is because that subscribe button's right there on the screen for you to just click on. You could be all over that subscribe button if you want. Double tap the screen bare minimum. It helps us out a lot. Appreciate that. In the Jar Football Show, where we ramble about the latest football and other sports happenings every single weekday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern. You got to subscribe to see us when we live. You got to subscribe to see us when we live. Every single weekday we're live on YouTube, Kick, Twitch, Twitter. And that's just that. So, Final Four, I think it's going to be Arizona versus UConn for the national title. The battle of navy blue and red, right? Arizona, I think, will beat UConn. Arizona's just too stacked, top to bottom. I watched them just beat the living tar out of Arkansas, and Arkansas was far from playing bad. Beat the damn tar out of Arkansas. Took him out back, smacked him with the belt. It was unbelievable. Because Darius Acuff, the best basketball player in college, in the country, bar none, Darius Acuff still went for 26 points against U of A, and Arkansas still got spanked by 22 points. Okay, so let's dive into this shit. Why don't we? Let's see what we got. Don't care about NBA. The woke NBA. Okay. Kirk Cousins to the Raiders. Deal breakdown. Some people are calling it a contract architecture masterpiece. 26 base salary, 1.3 million veteran minimum. Raiders will pay him that. 2026 offset from Atlanta. That's 8.7 milli. 2026 total guaranteed money, 20 million. Both teams, Raiders and Falcons, contributing to that. Roster bonus, which comes on day 3 of the 2027 league year, 10 million fully guaranteed. Club option, 2027 and 28. And the amount for that is 80 million. The Raiders will be paying him that, although it's unlikely that it's exercised. And for cap purposes, I guess you've got 2 void years, 2029, 2030. I have an idea of what a void year could be, but I'm not quite positive on the other end of the spectrum. So on paper, $172 million over 5 years. The real value as it stands, $20 million for 1 year. Cousins will now have played under fully guaranteed contracts for 11 consecutive seasons. Congrats to his agent. Whoever his agent is a real G. The Raiders were engaged with Kirk Cousins since Atlanta released him. Cousins could have made $10 million sitting on the couch and wasn't going to play for free. Sides found a creative way to double his pay for 2026 while maximizing flexibility for both sides. And then and they had old Kubiak. I can't remember if it's I know his dad. There's a Gary Kubiak and there's a Clint Kubiak. I think Gary's the dad and Clint is the former Seattle Seahawks OC and new Vegas Raiders head coach. Clint Kubiak and Gary Kubiak. And here's what he had to say. Perfect world. He's watching. He's talking about Fernando Mendoza, by the way. In a perfect world, he's watching a mature adult run an offense and run a team. You'd rather have him learn before he gets in the game. You don't always get to pick, but you want to make sure you're drafting a guy that's mature enough to handle adversity, whether it's starting game 1 or starting game 1, year 2. So Cousins and Kubiak worked together 3 years in Minnesota, 19 to 21. Brady's in the building. Definitely not surprised by any of this was Tom Brady. In fact, I guarantee that he had a word on it. Look, the Raiders might be having the best offseason in the NFL right now. The Bengals made a bunch of signings today. They signed safety Kyle Duggar from Pittsburgh. Kyle Duggar for the Steelers against the Bengals had a pick 6 when the Bengals got their absolute ass kicked in Pittsburgh. Something tells me that the front office just did no research on him and signed him because he had a pick 6 against the Bengals. I'm so dead serious. I legitimately feel like this Bengals scouting department does the minimal research they can to get by. And they also have only 6 people or whatever. So they signed Kyle Duggar. They signed a corner as well. I can't remember the guy's name. There's a corner. Jasir Taylor. Okay. So they have not and will not address the linebacker room in Cincinnati. Two of the worst linebackers in the entire league last year. According to PFF, they were also two of the highest in missed tackles. I mean, what are we doing, man? They must have, look, they must either, these coaches, this front office, I know the front office doesn't have any fear of losing their jobs, and it's affected the Bengals negatively. I know this. They have zero fear. It's a family business. Doesn't matter how shitty you do. Like, you're part of the family. You're not getting fired. Duke Tobin, part of the family. You know. Hello to Rose Guzman. Appreciate you. Yeah, I'm convinced that the Bengals front office just takes guys that are going to be cheap, that made a couple plays against them the season before. I think Geno Stone was that way. He turned out absolutely terrible. You know, good luck with him, Bills. He's the worst player I've ever seen play football. Where was I going with that? Yeah, I mean, the Bengals signed so Kyle Duggar. So now they've got Brian Cook from Kansas City, Kyle Duggar from Pittsburgh. Duggar also played for New England and made a big strip play against the Bengals when he was with the Patriots. So that's interesting. I truly believe that the Bengals scouting department just doesn't like to do research, and so they just sign guys that play well against them that they've seen play. Just unbelievable. I really think that. And the fact that they're rolling with these linebackers, the fact that the Bengals are running it back with these linebackers, they better be freaking right. But the problem is that I feel like if they're wrong, there's going to be no one held accountable. Maybe Zach gets scapegoated, you know. Maybe Zach pays for it. And this seems like a Zach decision, the Bengals running back these linebackers. I don't know what they see in them, but either they see something we don't, and they're going to knock our socks off this season, and we're all going to wonder why we were hating in April. But the writing's on the wall. The Bengals are running it back at the linebacker position, which was arguably the absolute worst group on the second worst defense in all of the league. Stupid is as stupid does. Alec M is correct there. Dude, I'm convinced that they're either so idiotic. There's a couple possibilities. The coaches and the front office could be so idiotic and full of themselves that they feel like they made a decision and now they have to stand on it, even though nobody else would sweat them if they didn't stand on it and just pivoted and said, we were wrong. That could be a big factor. That could be the case. They actually might see something. You know, they are technically the professionals at the end of the day. Do I think I could do a better job than them a lot of the time? You bet your pretty ass. But at the end of the day, in reality, are they the professionals and I'm the commentator? Yes. So they could be seeing something that none of us know about yet. And these guys could light us up next year. Or the third outcome, the possibility, is that they just don't care. And they know that since it's a family business, nobody's going to be actually held accountable for bad job performance. And they're happy just collecting the checks, selling the jerseys, selling the tickets, getting the NFL league, the revenue share check every year, and just saving money and trying to line your own pockets. And then probably, because we're so conservative and frugal. We're upstanding people. Like, that's the vibe I get from them. So conservative and smart with money, frugal. Just like this really limited mindset. You know what I mean? Like, you got blinders on and you can only see what's in front of you. Very worldly. They might, the Brown family, the Blackburns, they just might not care. After all, the Bengals were an organization that was founded out of spite for the Browns. So, spite's not the most productive emotion to me. Sometimes it can be productive, but when you got a franchise that originates in spite, which is literally what the Cincinnati Bengals are, the fact that it's cursed wouldn't be surprising to me. But they're an ownership group. Duke Tobin is not a part of the family, but he is, the de facto GM. And I just believe, like, I've seen this with my own two eyes in football before. I've seen this with my own two eyes. A coach or an administrative person makes a decision about a player, whether it's them starting, signing them, offering them, whatever it is. These people, they make a decision about a player, and then they see it through too long and too far because they want to see themselves be right instead of make a pivot to another player or another strategy that could definitely make the team better, but it deconstructs your ego in the process of admitting you were wrong and having to pivot. And so I see this Bengals group as a group that could definitely have just made a complete unfounded decision with this linebacker core. And then they wake up, they open their eyes, they blink, and they say, well, now this is our decision. Like, we must be right. We have to be right. And the whole world saying, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're idiots, and you're wrong. And we have such a narrow mindset, and we've closed everybody else off, and we're so self-centered, and we're so subsequently worried about being right, that we say, you know what? No, I'm right. And we're going to make sure that everybody knows I'm right about these young linebackers. Dude, I'm telling you, these are the kind of people to think like that. Average linebacker is nice. They were the two, and they are rookies. So, and this is the thing. The Bengals always, I hijacked this episode and turned it into a Bengals episode. And I lost my train of thought. Damn it. The theme with the Bengals, if you guys haven't already noticed, there's always something ideologically that they fall back on. So at the end of the year, the third disappointing as hell season in a row, what did they say? They said, well, we made a Super Bowl half a decade ago with this group of people, so we're confident with this group of people. Or it's, oh, we couldn't sign Leo Chenal. We couldn't sign a veteran linebacker because we were too focused on signing Jonathan Allen. They can't focus on two deals at one time because their scouting department is too small because they're too cheap. We can't get out of our own way. The path to winning is there. You have the Messiah under center who fell into your lap, for God's sake, in 2020. You got the best receiver in the league to go with him, who also fell into, well, I will give Duke Tobin credit on Jamar Chase. A lot of people criticized that pick when it happened. And people were speculating as the preseason opened up, as when Jamar Chase was a rookie, and then he dropped that screen pass, and everyone lost their mind and said we should have taken Penei Sewell. Duke Tobin was right about that. But Jamar Chase is the last Pro Bowler to be drafted by Duke Tobin in 2021. He's drafted 48 players since. Not one has made it to the goddamn Pro Bowl. I'm not supposed to say GD, but I'm ticked off talking about this. So I totally hijacked this, turned this into a Bengals episode. So sorry if the thumbnail, the title's misleading. I guess we could circle back to it. I am having fun, believe it or not. This is in the jar, where we get in the jar, we get a little piss and vinegar about us because we're trapped in a life-size mason jar, and we're shelled up. The Bengals do that to us to get us in the jar. So that's why the show's called what it's called. So, yeah, man, it's frustrating being a Bengals fan. I'm telling y'all, if they don't get it done now, I'm talking about existential levels of crisis in this Bengals organization. I'm telling you, it almost reminds me of our country right now. But we won't get into that, or we won't get into that too heavily. Raiders are having a great free agency. I screenshotted everybody that they signed. Let's see if I can find that on the fly. It's kind of buried down here somewhere. But I know they signed Quay Walker. Here it is. Quay Walker, 3 years, $40.5 million. Kwity Paye, he's a great edge player from the Indianapolis Colts, Michigan man, 3 years, $48 million. Tyler Linderbaum, great center, 3 years, $81 million. I fear they overpaid for him. They'll be getting Max Crosby back, it looks like. Kirk Cousins, 1 year, $20 million. That just happened today. Nakobe Dean, 3 years, $36 million. I mean, they paid guys now. Receiver Jalen Naylor, 3 years, $35 million. Corner Eric Stokes, re-signed. He's been there and coming back. Re-signed. Malcolm Kuntz, edge player there. And then they acquired Teron Johnson via trade. He's a great player. Number 7, the safety, I believe, used to be on the Bills. So, yeah, man, hell. I think I titled the episode that for a reason. The Raiders are doing what I wish the Bengals would. And the Raiders aren't even in a win now window. Like, the stakes are way lower for the Raiders. The expectations are way lower. So, and I mean, I think it was, there's nothing more obvious than Kirk Cousins signing with the Raiders. I mean, it's barely even news. Like I said, 2 days ago, there were some rumblings. Oh, what if the Rams sign him because he wants to go and try and get a Super Bowl ring as a backup? But it's clear the purpose he serves and with the Raiders would be much greater. Him and Mendoza are going to be a perfect fit in the quarterback room together. And the whole reason this thing opened up is because of what the Atlanta Falcons are doing at quarterback. And I have no clue what they're doing. I don't know what the vision is. Tua Tagovailoa can barely talk. It's clear the concussions have affected his speech and his decision-making on the field the last couple of years. Like, if I'm a Falcons fan, I have no hope at the quarterback position. I mean, Penix showed signs. I don't want to sound like a hater. I'm totally out on Tua. I think Tua's cooked. Cooked to a crisp, really. I don't know what Atlanta was thinking bringing him on. I don't know what they paid him. I can't remember. I'm sure we talked about it on here. Penix, look, guy's got upside. It's got potential. He's no Mike Vick. Okay? Sorry. It's this thing with lefty quarterbacks. Whoever's I can't remember the GM for the Falcons, but Lord. Let's see what we got in the chat here. Nakobe Dean, very athletic linebacker. Dude, a guy I wish Cincinnati would have gone after, man. Like, it's such a no-brainer that you add a veteran linebacker to mentor these guys, Barrett Carter, Demetrius Knight in Cincinnati. It just makes perfect sense. They were clearly overwhelmed this year. And Zach Taylor said something about that. He said, we were pleased with how these guys responded when bullets were flying because they're so young and they've got all this potential. And I'm sitting here thinking, okay, but we missed tons of tackles. We were up way high with missed tackles. Tackling! What did I say about team guys yesterday? Team guys block and tackle. It's fundamentals. It's fundamentals. You can control how good of a tackler you are. Yes, I said that. Yes, it's in your control. If you just decide you can't tackle someone, or there's a game and I just can't tackle today, that's the mentality that goes into all these missed tackles. Oh, I just can't seem to tackle someone today. Oh, I guess we'll just come back next week. Dude, I'm telling you, like, this franchise is stricken with attitudes like that, I feel like. And I feel like it always has been. And you know what the common denominator is there? Ownership. The ownership family. So, Zach Taylor was like, we believe in these guys' ability to stay calm and do what they need to do when bullets are flying. And I'm thinking, we're damn near top of the list in missed tackles this year. Is that calm when bullets are flying? Dude, I'm telling you, they must see something that I'm not seeing. Again, they're the pros. They're there every day. I'm not. But again, with these Bengals, man, I feel like I could do a better job than this family that owns it is doing. Dude, it's so obvious. So obvious. Somebody made a software. My pledge brother sent it to me. Somebody made a software where you can create an account, pick a team, and it's like a GM simulator. And I've been putting off for weeks, probably a month or two now, going in there and fooling around. But and I don't know how you would measure success or how it works, how the player production translates to this online simulator. But, I mean, my God, what better way to prove you could run the organization better than this family? It's unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. So we covered Cousins. Kirk Cousins' agent deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. Okay. This is Greeny. Greeny had this to say on McAfee earlier. Far more quarterbacks in the NFL are ruined than are developed, meaning their confidence gets ruined because they get thrown into the fire too soon. The Raiders have become the team that gets everything right now. I loved everything they did this offseason. The hiring of Clint Kubiak is outstanding. Now they're not forcing Mendoza to be the guy from day one. Cousins is a perfect mentor. The combination of Cousins and Tom Brady being in the organization, I don't know how better Fernando Mendoza could have it. It's hard to argue with that take. Really hard. And they're setting him up. And I'm giving, look, I think Brady's presence is going to turn, I mean, that's not even close to anything, even a lukewarm take. Tom Brady's presence immediately elevating the organization as a whole, I'll be interested to see where the Raiders get in the next 3 years. I'd be interested to see where In and Jar get in the next 3 years. Because we running it like the Raiders, baby. We trying to win now, baby. You know what I mean? Let's keep reading the chat here. Kobe Dean, very athletic linebacker. I just can't believe Cincinnati, hands in their thumbs in their butts. Like I said, I think the Bengals can only focus on one move at a time. And it's because their scouting department's so small. And their scouting department's small because they don't want to pay anybody else. Lindsay in the chat. Shout out to Miss Lindsay down there in New Orleans. I think Kirk Cousins will be a good mentor to Mendoza. Happy Easter, Clark, in case you don't come on air tomorrow. Now, we'll be here, Miss Lindsay. We're going to be here. I know it's Ash, or what is it, Ash Friday? I can't remember. Anybody who's Catholic probably smack me for not remembering. Good Friday. But that's when you get the Ash, right? Or is it Ash Wednesday? You know what I mean? Either way, happy Easter, Miss Lindsay. Johnson can play slot. Penix injury concerns is not good. Yeah, it's true. He has been hurt a lot as well. Maybe Bengals should hire a teenager Madden GM. Probably be better off. I'm telling you. Cousin, a good pro mentor. Agree with that. Yep. And then people are talking about Jalen Hurts' body language. I'm surprised somebody hasn't tried to make that a race conversation. And maybe it is. You know, if Jalen Hurts was white, if Jalen Hurts was a white, you think people I'm not trying to be that guy. In fact, I hate guys that are that guy. But, you know, it's just interesting to think about. 5 different offensive coordinators since becoming the starting quarterback. All those guys basically got head coaching gigs. Super Bowl MVP 14 months ago. I mean, we're going to start doing a team guy of the day. And so I can't think of a better way to start the team guy of the day segment off than dropping a not team guy of the day, an antichrist of the team guy award of the day, if you will. And it's this anonymous tip guy in the Eagles organization. They're going to try and sniff out and find that little rat. I guarantee it. I'd like to just find him just because, you know, he's a little rat. You know what I mean? I'm going to anonymously shit on my literal franchise quarterback to some hack ESPN reporter that needs a story like this to make it. And I'm going to stay anonymous because I'm gay. You know, it's just... This Philadelphia Eagles whistleblower, or whatever you want to call him, anonymous little rat, is the not team guy of the day. He's the antichrist team guy of the day. Because even if this shit is true, like, why are we clout trouting? Keep it to your fucking self. If you have any interest in your own organization that you spend every day at, if you want it to succeed. Unbelievable. George Pickens, we're going to hop offline here in a minute, guys. George Pickens is not allowed in the Cowboys facility until he signs his franchise tender. He won't sign the tender without a long-term deal, but a lot of folks don't see a long-term deal coming into focus until right before the deadline, which is mid-July. So it tells you a real probability that Pickens isn't going to be there for the offseason program. George Pickens, I think, is a guy that wouldn't need to ever lift a weight, wouldn't need to ever do a HIIT workout, could probably eat whatever he wanted and still show up to camp and be mugging on cornerbacks, mugging on them. He just seems like one of those guys. I had a friend in high school that was like that. Wouldn't live for 12 months and then come into the weight room and bench as much as me. And I was working out every day. There's guys like that, particularly black guys like that. They can eat whatever they want. They don't have to lift. They don't have to condition. And they come out there and they're just still mogging everyone. I feel like, I don't know, that's just me judging a book by its cover. I feel like that's how George Pickens is. Like, I feel like if anybody in the NFL right now wouldn't need an offseason program, it'd probably be George Pickens. And he's so good. Like, this is the thing about football. I used to always, when I was in college at Samford University, small D1, I always took it so personal that me, a walk-on, was treated treated worse than a guy that would end up in the NFL or something. Like, I couldn't be a second late to meetings, but that guy can. It's a meritocracy. Most guys, Puka Nacua, dude, what a story that is. And for fear of getting kicked off YouTube, I don't think I'm going to dive in, but all I'll say is I don't think Puka needs rehab. I don't think Puka Nacua. I don't know him. I'm not his friend. I'm not around him every single day. Never met the guy once. Never talked to the guy. But when you watch him on stream, when you watch the level of performance the guy puts out, and again, some guys can drink alcohol all the time and get fucked up and still perform at a level like that. I cannot. I was not genetically blessed that much. But there's something fishy about this Puka Nacua rehab thing. And they said it had nothing to do with the lawsuit. He said some words about a certain group of people that you can't say certain words about. And all of a sudden he's framed as this alcoholic. He's checked into rehab. He's losing his mind. It's the same narrative with the Jaden Ivey shit. The guy's just talking about God and things he believes are right and wrong, and people want to gaslight you and frame him as insane. Oh, I hope he gets the help he needs. What a condescending little bitch thing to say about somebody. You get the help you need, you fucking cuck. You know what I mean? Like that fucking guy. Excuse me, I gotta chill. But that freaking guy, the kid that was Snapchatting 15-year-olds in NBA, Josh Giddey. Oh, that guy's face just bugs me for some reason. He came out publicly and said about Jaden Ivey, he said, I hope he gets the help he needs. You get the help you need. You Epstein-loving, gay hair having, TikTok dancing, you know what? It's just, I hope somebody gets the help they need. It's so passive-aggressive. So I think there's a little more behind this Puka Nacua checking into rehab story than people would like to admit. And he posted on his story, and all he said was, it was and then he put a star emoji. So there's that. Okay, CeeDee Lamb, he's getting paid $34 million a year. We mentioned that earlier. That's the figure. Other wide receivers getting more. What's the number? It's a tricky deal. Jerry Jones said he has long-term plans for Pickens. Shefty was talking about all this. No name revealed yet from Dallas as a comp. Okay. Yep, and then the Final Four. We'll probably spend a lot of the show previewing the Final Four tomorrow. Saturday games always happen on Saturdays. You got the early game, Illinois, UConn, and the late game is Michigan and Arizona. Michigan's favored by 1.5 points, and I think Illinois is favored by 1.5 points. I got both underdogs. We'll talk about how it plays out tomorrow. And yeah, I think that's about it, guys. I'm going to send you on your way. Get ready for jiu-jitsu here. We are competing in 9 days. We have our next competition in 9 days. We're going to vlog it just like we did the last one. The last jiu-jitsu, my first competition vlog, is on this channel if you're new here. If you're not, you've probably already seen it, so thanks for watching that. We'll have another one up probably April 12th, 13th, depending on how long it takes me to edit. So in order for me to be able to hire editors, in order for me to be able to maybe have producers on site while we're live one day, handling things, making the show as good as it could possibly be, we got to be able to monetize this channel. And in order to be able to monetize this channel, I need you guys to subscribe. Every dollar we make from this channel for the next probably 5-10 years is going to go right back into the channel, improving this thing, giving you guys the best unfiltered, raw football content, lifestyle content that you can imagine. So hop on a train with us. If you're watching this and you see that subscribe button and it's still white and says subscribe, you're not subscribed yet. So just click that button. It costs nothing. You won't go on an email newsletter or nothing like that. Okay? So that's all I got today. Live shows every single weekday. We'll round out the week tomorrow, and then we'll start out the week strong. I'm sure there'll be plenty of news over the weekend for us to go over on Monday. But for now, my name's Clark Dupree. This is In the Jar Football Program. You just watched us live on YouTube, or maybe Kick, or maybe Twitch, or maybe Twitter. So whatever platform you're on, I hope you enjoyed this enough to want to hit the subscribe, want to hit the follow button, and we'll come right back with to round out the week next week. We'll see you guys then.